إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم وأما بعد. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, truly and verily all praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We praise Him and seek only His help and forgiveness. We also seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the evil of our nafs, which is inclined to do evil, except by the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We also seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the evil of our sayyat, which is our minor sins, those things that are not sanctioned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Those whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills to be guided to Islam, total submission to the will and commandment, no one can lead them astray, for surely guidance is from Allah. And those whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills to be misguided from the true essence of Islam, total submission to the will and commandment of Allah, no one can guide them. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, the one God who has no partners. And I bear witness that Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is his slave and messenger. Amaanee. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that those who strive to obtain knowledge, ilm, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make their path to paradise easy. Those who strive to obtain knowledge, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make the path to paradise easy. They said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, what is knowledge? He said, knowledge is knowledge of Allah wa Rasuluhu, meaning knowledge of Allah, meaning knowledge of the Quran, and knowledge of Rasul, meaning the knowledge of the messenger, meaning his sunnah, the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So that knowledge which is very important to make one's path to paradise easy is the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Thus today we are learning the Arabic language. We are trying to learn the alphabet so that we will be able to learn the science of tajweed. The science of tajweed is the science of the recitation of the Quran. The Quran was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam through the angel Jibreel in a specific manner, in a specific way. The Quran was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Quran was recited to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam by the angel Jibreel alayhi salam, so that he knew exactly how to recite the Quran. The science of this recitation is called tajweed, when one beautifies one voice, or one makes one voice beautified in the recitation of the Quran. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the one who does not beautify their voice when they recite the Quran, one does not make it a melodious voice, one does not beautify his voice or her voice when they recite the Quran, he said, Laysa minni, they are not from me, they're not from my ummah. So the ones who recite their Quran with a pleasant voice, following the sciences of the tajweed, this is how, or these are the ones of the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam also said, when you recite the Quran, beautify your voice like the Prophet Dawood alayhi salam. Beautify your voice like the Prophet Dawood alayhi salam. He said he had one of the best instruments. His instrument was his voice. He said Dawood alayhi salam, he used to praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and walk through the valleys and just reciting, and with his beautiful voice, you could hear it through the valleys. He had a beautiful voice. So this is the science of tajweed, and this is what we're trying to learn. Alhamdulillah, we learned the alphabet, we learned the vowels, right? We learned the shadda, we learned the sukoon, okay? Today, I'm going to teach you the 4 rules of Dipthong. The 4 rules of Dipthong. Okay? Dipthong. We're going to just call this Dipthong. This is when we have certain letters that make certain sounds, but when they are combined with other letters, they change to a different sound. These are called diphthongs. The first one, using aleph as an example, any letter with a fata on it. Fata makes the sound, right? Any letter that has fata that is followed by wa, sukoon. any letter, we're using aleph as an example, with a fatha that is followed by wa with the sukoon. Sukoon means what? It is silent with no vowel. It connects to the previous letter and vowel. Boom. So fatha, any letter that has fatha followed by wa sukoon, turns into ow. Ow. So turns into ow. Like sour, power, hour. Okay? Turns into ow, like sour, power. I'm just showing you the sound it makes. So sometimes when they say ow, they may have OU or they may have OW in the transliteration. But the main thing is that we understand, without looking at it, we understand the sound that it makes is ow. So everyone repeat after me. Ow. 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 Okay, everybody repeat after me. Ow. Ow. Okay, so turns into ow. Okay, now the next letter of diphthong. This is turning into ow. For instance, if I have this letter, what letter is that? Who can tell me this letter? Lamb. Lamb. If I have the letter lamb and this is the vowel, or what vowel is this? On top. Fatha. Fatha makes what sound? So this would be la. Now if I add the letter wa, I add the letter wa, this wa has sukoon. Now, using this rule of diphthong, turns into ow. So now this is lamb with the fatha. Fatha makes the sound. La turns into or stays la. But now I have this la that's followed by wa sukoon. I have the rule of diphthong, which means turns into ow. Therefore, la turns into loud. Loud. Got it? Loud. Okay? Same thing. If I have the letter, can you see sister back there? Okay. Yeah. If I have the letter ba, say for instance I have the letter ba. Emphasis is on the dot. Don't matter if it looks like this, it don't matter. Emphasis is on the dot on the bottom. Okay? That's why we pay attention to these diacritical marks. Even if I have the letter ba, and I have what vowel is this? Fatha. Fatha makes the what sound? So now I have ba, but now I add this wa with sukoon. Wa with sukoon. I got a rule. Your mind should be like rule of diphthong. Rule of diphthong is that what? Any letter with fatha followed by wa sukoon. Turns into ow. So therefore, ba turns into bow. Allahu Akbar. Okay? This rule of diphthong is very important because when we get into the Fatiha, which the first surah we're gonna learn, the first surah you're gonna learn how to write, the first surah you're gonna learn how to memorize and recite with tajweed is gonna be the Fatiha. One of the words that you have in the Fatiha, you have to use this rule of diphthong. Okay? You cannot even learn the Fatiha in the Arabic, learning how to write it or even recite it properly if you do not know this rule of diphthong. Example, like even the word okay? What letter is this? Yeah. Two dots on the bottom. What letter is this? Yeah. Yeah. And what vowel do we have on top? Fatha makes what sound? What's the next letter? Wa with a? Sukoon. We got the rule of diphthong, right? The rule of diphthong is what? Any letter with fatha, which followed by wa sukoon, Fata, followed by wa sukun. Ah turns into ow. So therefore, ya turns into what? Yow. Yow. Okay? Yow. Just that part. Yow. The next letter is what? The next letter is what? Mean. Mean. And don't trip if it looks different. It could be that way. Mean could be this way. Okay? It could be many ways. It could be many ways. The main thing is this: we have this circle here. Okay? That's a mean. Okay? So if I have the letter mean, what's on the what haraka is this? Kesra. Kesra makes what sound? E. So therefore, mean turns into me. So if I had yow and then me, it becomes yow me. Yow me. Okay? This is very important. You have to have this rule because this is in the verse when we say Maliki Yaw Middin. Yaw Middin. Yawm. Right? Yawm means day. Yawm means day. This is going to be one of your vocabulary words because this is part of the Fatiha. Don't trip. You will get it. Inshallah. Inshallah. The main thing is that to learn this rule of Dipthong, the rule of Dipthong that I want you to get and to memorize and to put it into your memory bank so that every time you come to this rule or you see this rule, you know that ah turns into ow. Any letter, and this is the rule of Dipthong. Imprint this, memorize this, you know what I'm saying? Upload this into your brain. Any letter that has fata followed by wa sukun, the ah turns into ow. Simple. Any letter followed by any letter that has fata followed by wa sukun, the ah turns into ow. That's one of the rules of Dipthong. Okay? That's one. There's 4 of them. The next one, you got that down? The next one, using aleph as an example. Any letter that has a fata that is followed by ya sukun. Ah turns into a. Ah turns into a. Now, another thing too that I have to express to you, because we're dealing with the rules of Tajweed. The rules of Tajweed, it is a science. Something similar to music or reading music. When you read in the Quran, you are like reading music because every diacritical mark, it pertains or it represents a beat or a measure or so many beats. For instance, each one of these is like one beat. Okay, if I say ah, that's just one beat. Ah, but if I say that's 2 beats. Right? Those who ever did music, read music, you know, half note, quarter note, 8 notes. Okay, just a little something. But reading Quran is like a science. Like if you have the science of reading the Quran, it is like reading music. And the people who have studied the science of reading the music of the Quran, when they hear other people reciting, they can tell if they messing up or not. They're like, that note was off. He didn't hold it long enough. Okay? You can tell. When you're dealing with the diphthong, anytime you have diphthong, these 4 rules of diphthong that I'm dealing with, that sound or that that sound that it makes, the ah, the ow, and now the ah turning into a, all of these get 2 beats. At least 2 beats. At least 2 beats. Okay? So when we say ah turns into ow, the ow sound, you hold it for at least 2 beats. So it's not just ow. It's ow, yow, at least 2 beats. The same thing with ah turning into a. The a sound gets 2 beats as well. So ah turns into a, at least 2 beats. Understand? Example. What if we had I just turned it from the wa and I turned it to a ya. I switched it from the wa and I turned it to a ya. Just by changing it like that, watch how it changes the sound. So now I have again the first letter is lam with the fatha. The next letter is ya followed by sukoon. Right? Any letter that has fatha followed by ya sukoon. Ding, 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 ding. Here again, I have a rule of dipthong that's going to be in motion. The rule of dipthong is that any letter, whether it's alif, ba, ta, tha, jim, ha, fa, I have lam and it's followed by ya with sukoon, turns into a. Thus, this right here, lam, and I have fatha. Fatha makes the what sound? So therefore, la stays la, but then it's followed by ya with sukoon, turns into a, la turns into lay. La turns into lay because it gets 2 beats. So it becomes lay, but you gotta hold that a sound for 2 beats. So la becomes lay. Okay, everybody. Lay. Repeat after me. Lay. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. This is the second rule of dipthong. Again, and again, if I use a different letter, it doesn't have to be lam, it doesn't have to be alif. Okay? I'm going to use this like you're going to use it or see it in a verse. This is one of the words. Okay? Just relax. Take some deep breaths. We're going to go through it one letter at a time. One letter at a time. And as we go through it one letter at a time, we will see how this works. Inshallah. I'm going to take my time as we go through this so that you can see how it works. I'm not going to try to make it not easy to comprehend. This is very simple. The first letter, and I'm going to have you guys participate with me because I want to make sure you're understanding as we walking through this together, okay, so that you can understand this. So I want you guys to tell me, what's this first letter? What letter is this? What haruf is this? Ayn. What vowel do we have on top? Fatha. Fatha makes what sound? So therefore, ayn turns into ah. Right? So ayn turns into because we have this fatha. Right? The next letter is what? Everybody, what letter is this?
Lam.
Lam. Lam has a what?
Fatha.
Fatha makes what sound? So therefore, lam turns into la. Right? So now I have la. Right? Repeat after me. La. Repeat after me. La. Repeat after me. La.
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 Okay. Now, the next letter is what? Ya with a ding 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 diphthong. Rule of diphthong, right? Any letter that has fata, followed by ya sukun, turns into a. So therefore, la turns into lay. But how many beats does it have?
2.
2. So now la turns into lay. So now I have lay. Repeat after me. Lay.
Lay. Lay.
Okay. Now the next letter is what? No. Look at it. That's the yin yang in the middle. Ha. Allahu Akbar. Now the mean, it won't have nothing in the side of it. It'll be a complete circle. The ha looks like it got the yin yang in it. Okay? Whatever it is in it, it got something in it. It ain't the mean. The mean is solid. It don't have nothing in it. So this is the ha. Okay? You see different ha's different ways. You'll get familiar with them. You get more familiar with them. They're written different ways. My handwriting is different than you might see somebody else. Okay? So this is a ha. What vowel do I have on the bottom? Which vowel is this? Kesra. Kesra makes what sound? E. So therefore, ha turns into he. So now I have, repeat after me. Alayhi.
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 Okay? Now what's this last letter? Mean. Look at it. Mean.
Mean.
What's on top of the mean? Sukun. Sukun means what? No vowel, and it's connected to what? The previous letter and vowel. So therefore, the previous letter vowel was he. I'm going to add this mean on the he, so he turns into him. He turns into him. Okay? So now, this turns into a, this he turns into him. So now it becomes, I'm going to say it a couple of times, and you see how it goes. Then you repeat it. I'll tell you when to repeat after me, but I'm going to say it a couple of times so you see how it sounds. Alayhim. 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 Repeat after me. Alayhim. Repeat after me, everybody. Alayhim.
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 Abdul Kareem. Alayhim.
Alayhim.
Salahuddin. Alayhim.
Alayhim.
Sister Baraka. Alayhim.
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 Allahu Akbar. Now, do not be shy when we're doing this. When you're learning this is learning it, how to recite. I'm going to tell you like my imam taught me, you're in the class, we're all in this together. We shouldn't feel shy, embarrassed. We're in this together, all trying to learn. So use your voice. Don't be ashamed. Don't be embarrassed. We're here to learn so that when we leave here, we got it right and tight. Okay? This is rule number 2 to diphthong. Turns into a. Got it? So this one, you see how it works. Turns into a. Alayhim. Right? So even as we just went through this, I just showed you how the letters and the vowels, how they connect. So thus it moves. Okay? It moves because now you have the letters, you have the vowels, and you connecting them and they're moving. Very simple. You do one letter at a time. Lay him. Lay him. Okay? Do it one at a time. Okay? Any questions on this one? We got 2 more. Okay? Next one, a diphthong. Using aleph as an example. Any letter that has wa. Any letter that has wa, or duma, duma. Any letter that has duma, followed by wa, sukun. Right? Because we already know that duma makes the oo sound. Right? Oo. But when you have any letter that has duma, we know duma makes the oo sound. But it is followed by wa, sukun. The oo sound turns into ooh, 2 beats. So now the ooh, when it's by itself, that's 1 beat, just ooh, ooh. When it's followed by wa, sukun, the ooh, now it turns into 2 beats, now it becomes ooh, 2 beats, right? That's why I said, all the rules of Dipthong, all of them are going to get 2 beats. All of them get at least 2 beats. They can be longer than 2 beats, but that depends on how long you make your other elongations, which we're going to get into later on. Okay? So, any letter, and I'm using aleph as an example, any letter that has duma on it, duma makes the oo sound, followed by wa sukun, right? The oo sound turns into ooh, 2 beats. Right? So now this quarter note, if those who know how to read music, so now this quarter note turns into a half note. Those who know how to read music. If you don't, that's what it is. It doubled it. Okay? So now ooh turns into ooh. And I'll give you an example. Good. Now we're going to break this down. Again, we're going to see how this moves. We're going to go 1 letter at a time, 1 vowel at a time. We're going to take it slow and take our time and make sure we get it right. We're not going to rush it so that we don't get it. So we're going to take our time together, 1 letter at a time, 1 vowel at a time, and see how this moves and how it works. This is a science that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught the Prophet Muhammad through the angel Jibreel, and thus we are the Ummah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so thus we're trying to learn this science. It is not hard. It is not hard, and it will not be hard if we're striving to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We say, Rabbi zidni ilma, my Lord, increase me in knowledge of your deen, make this easy for me, inshallah, ameen. So it's not hard. We're gonna move 1 letter at a time, 1 vowel at a time. We're gonna get this and make, inshallah, Allah bless us to understand this. It's not hard. The first letter is what? Mean. Circle. Nothing in it. Mean. What vowel do we have? Fata. Fata makes what sound? Ah. So therefore, mean turns into ma. Mean turns into ma. Okay? Now the next letter, this might confuse you a little bit because we haven't talked about how the letters change in the middle or at the ending of a word, but we're going to get it today. This letter here, because I haven't taught you this yet, this letter here is gain. Gain is this letter, right? Gain. Now if it's at the beginning of a word, you might see it like this, right? Gain. All I did was just took this, instead of going this way, I'm coming this way, okay? If it's in the middle of a word, it looks like this, like a diamond, okay? With a dot on top, but that dot still symbolizes the ayn. The gain. If it's at the end of a word, right? Just using anything. Lamb, and I have Gain. If it's at the end, then it will look like this. It will look like the regular letter. Okay? But in the middle of a word, it looks like the diamond with the dot on top. The same with the Ain. The Ain looks like the diamond, but it doesn't have the dot on top. Same with the Ain and the Gain. Okay? So this is Gain. Okay? So now we know the diamond shaped with the dot on top. This is the Ain and the Gain when they are in the middle of a word. The Ain and the Gain that look like this, when they are in the middle of a word, after any, or they're in the middle, in between, they look like this, like a diamond with a dot on top. So this is Gain. Okay? Like I said, we're going to take it slow. We're going to move real slow to make sure we get this. So we have the letter Gain. What's on the letter Gain? Sukun. Sukun means that it's silent and it's connected to the previous letter and vowel. So therefore this Gain connects to the Ma, right? So now Ma becomes Maga. 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 Okay? You see how that works? Okay. It's the Gain, but it has no vowel, but I still have a I still have the Gla sound. That Gla sound is connected to this Ma. Maga. Maga. But I don't give it a vowel. Okay? So now Maga. What's the next letter? Dod. Dod. Right? Sod. Dod. This is Dod right here. Right? Look at the dot on top. All it is this. I'm going to show you, don't let this confuse you. This is this letter. That's this letter. Okay? Sod and Dod. All we did was, on this letter, instead of making this tail come down, all we did was take it like this. Instead of coming down, now we're coming straight across. We ain't coming down. We coming like this so we can connect to the next letter or the next letter. Okay? Still look at it. Still look like a sod. Still Dod. If we put a dot on top, that's Dod. Okay? So it's getting familiar with the way that these letters are shaped. Getting familiar with what are the diacritical marks that is on top. Okay? So this is Dod. So we have the letter Dod, and what vowel do we have on top? What vowel is this? Duma. Duma makes what sound? Ooh. So now Dod becomes Du. Du. So now we have Mag, Du. Mag, Du. Repeat after me. Mag, Du. Repeat after me. Mag, Du.
Mag, Du.
Mag, Du.
Mag, Du.
Okay. Now what's the next letter? Wow with a Sukun. Ding, 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 ding. Dipthong, dipthong, rule of dipthong, right? We have a rule of dipthong. What's the rule? Any letter that has Duma on it, followed by Wa Sukun, the U sound becomes elongated to ooh, 2 beats, at least 2 beats, right? So now Du becomes what?
Ooh.
Allahu Akbar. So now we have Mag, Du. Repeat after me. Mag, Du.
Mag, Du.
Mag, Du.
Mag, Du.
Okay. What's the last letter?
Ba.
Ba. With the
Kesra.
Kesra. Kesra what sound? E. So therefore, Ba turns into B. So now I have Mag, Du, B. Mag, Du, B. Repeat after me. Mag, Makdubi.
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 Okay? This is how this rule of diphthong works. Ooh. So when you hear the brothers when they're reciting the Quran, Ghayril Makdubi, when they make that ooh sound long, and you're wondering why did he do that? Because right here, the rule of diphthong is in motion in this recitation of this part of the Quran. Okay? So there is a reason for why people elongate certain things, make them long, hold them, because of these rules. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. So this is the rule of diphthong for the ooh sound. We have one more. Y'all ready? We got one more. So this is for the ooh. Any letter that has duma followed by wa sukun, the ooh sound becomes elongated. Ooh becomes ooh. Okay? We got one more. These are the rules of diphthong. The haruf, the haraka, sukun, shadda, diphthongs. Get them on your way. You're reading. Last one of diphthong. Using aleph as an example. Any letter that has kesra followed by ya, sukun. The E sound becomes elongated, so thus E becomes E, at least 2 beats. At least 2 beats. So, the last rule of diphthong is any letter that has kesra, and kesra makes the E sound. Any letter with kesra followed by ya sukun, E turns into E, at least 2 beats. Okay? Because the rule of diphthong, then everything is 2 beats, at least 2 beats. Okay? Maybe, you might be able to get 3 or 4 depending on what you do with your other mods, your other elongations. But it gets at least 2 beats. I'll give you an example. Good. Now, we're going to use a whole bunch of rules right now. We learned a lot of rules. We got a lot of rules up in here. Okay? We're going to take it one step at a time. We're going to take it slow so we make sure everybody knows what's going on. The first letter is what? Aleph. And what's the vowel? Fata makes what sound? Ah. So fata, until aleph becomes ah, or it stays ah. What's the next letter? Lam. We got anything on it? No. Now, if I was to stop there, the rule of thumb is that any letter that doesn't have anything on it, it becomes automatic what? Sukun. Sukun. If I have a letter that doesn't have anything on it, it doesn't have a vowel, it doesn't have anything, it means automatic sukun. That is the rule of thumb in the Arabic language. If you come across the letter, it doesn't have anything on it, the rule of thumb is that it's an automatic sukun. For instance, if you come across this word, and you see this noon doesn't got nothing on it, so that means it's automatic sukun. So this word would be called lan. Lan. Even though there's no sukun here, that makes it lan. If there's nothing there, that means it's automatic sukun. That is the rule of thumb. If there's nothing there, it's automatic sukun. Lan, which means never, ever, ever, ever. Okay? Now getting back to this last diphthong rule. We get this, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, this is good. This right here has a lot of rules in it. If you can get all of these rules, then that means that you've learned something, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. So we have lamb, it has nothing on it, but when it has nothing on it, that means automatic sukoon. The next letter we have what? It's called what? Dal. Dal. What's on top of the dal? Shadda. Anna. Kesra. Now hold on. Shadda. The rule of Shadda is what? Combine, hold, give it its vowel. Remember? Combine, hold, give it its vowel. This is the short version. The rule of Shadda is the letter with Shadda, it is combined with the previous letter and vowel. It is held, the letter that has Shadda, that letter is held in the mouth. The sound is held, and then the letter with Shadda is given its vowel. Combine, hold, give it its vowel. So I combine it with the previous letter and vowel. I hold that letter in my mouth that has Shadda, then I give it its vowel that has the Shadda. The vowel is what? Kesra. Kesra makes what sound? E. So therefore, da, dal turns into D. But at the same time, I have to combine these two. So now, if I combine this letter with the previous letter vowel, the previous letter vowel is A. And this is A. So now A combines with this D. I hold this D in my mouth. Then I give this D its vowel, which is E. So that da becomes D. So now this becomes at D. At D. Because I'm holding the D sound in my mouth. I combine this with the D, so it becomes at D. I'm holding that D in my mouth because it is shut. That means that I hold it. At D. Everybody repeat after me. At D. Repeat after me, not with me, but after me, inshallah. At D.
D.
At D.
D.
Allahu Akbar. Now, I have D because it has Kesra. The next letter is what? Yeah, because of them two dots. Even though it don't look like this, or it don't look like this with the two dots on the bottom, the main emphasis what? Is these two dots. Ain't nothing in the Arabic alphabet that has two dots on the bottom but the ya. Okay? So no matter how you see it, like this, or this with the two dots, it's still ya. Okay? So now I have a dal with Kesra. Kesra followed by what's this? Ya with the what? Ding, 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 Now I have a rule of Dipthong. Why? Because I have a letter that has Kesra that's followed by Ya Sukun. The E sound turns into what? E. Right? So now when I had At D, now At D becomes At D. Ready? You hear me? You got it? So, listen. At D. At D. Repeat after me. At D.
D.
At D.
D.
What's the last letter? Last letter. Noon. Right? Noon. What's the vowel? Kesra. Kesra makes what sound? E. So therefore noon turns into ni. Ni. So now I have at dini. At dini. You guys got it? You see how it works? You see how it moved? Okay? So very briefly, real quickly, simply, inshallah. These are your 4 rules of Dipthong. Number 1, any letter that has aleph, any letter that has fata, any letter that has, I'm using the letter aleph, but any letter that has fatha, followed by wa, sukoon. Turns into ow. Okay? Next one. Using aleph as an example. Any letter that has fatha, followed by ya, sukoon. Turns into a. Turns into a. Next one. Any letter, and I'm using aleph, that has a duma. Duma makes the u sound. Followed by wa, sukoon. Duma makes the u sound, but because of the rule of diphthong, u turns into oo. 2 beats. Every rule of diphthong is 2 beats. The next rule of diphthong, again, any letter having kesra, followed by ya, sukoon. Any letter that has kesra followed by ya, sukoon, and the kesra makes the e sound. E turns into e, and again 2 beats. Okay? These are your 4 rules of diphthong. These are your 4 main rules of diphthong. Again, and they are as follows. Any letter that has fatha, whether it's aleph, ba, ta, tha, jim, ha, kha, and it has fatha on it. We know fatha means the ah sound. And it's followed by wa, sukoon, a wa with the sukoon. The ah turns into ow, like sour, power, yao ming, ow. The other one, any letter that has fatha, followed by ya, sukoon. Any letter that has fatha followed by ya, sukoon, turns into a. Turns into a. Remember it has 2 beats. Turns into a. The next one, any letter that has duma. Any letter that has duma, duma makes the oo sound. Any letter that has duma followed by wa, sukoon, the oo turns into oo. The oo turns into oo because this oo sound gets 2 beats. The last one, any letter, whether it's aleph, ba, ta, tha, jim, ha, kha, and it's followed, and it has kesra. Kesra makes the e sound. Any letter that has kesra followed by ya, sukoon, that e sound turns into e, at least 2 beats. Okay? So we have the 4 rules of diphthong, and they're as follow. Turns into ow. Turns into a. Oo turns into oo. And e turns into e. You guys got it? Any questions?